I have Scott Meyer with me from Chipp AI. I'm Hope. And for those who don't know me, I work with entrepreneurs. I coach individuals moving through change all over the world. And there was a big change last week, right, Scott? A change in the world of AI and what has been released is huge. And I thought, oh my gosh, as I'm getting pinged by entrepreneurs and businesses all last week, who do I go to for answers and support? And I immediately thought of Scott and Chipp AI. Scott, before we dive into how you're supporting people specifically, what happened in the world of AI last week? Tell us.
It was a big week. So both OpenAI and Google had AI events. I think what happened is OpenAI officially announced they're a consumer tech company, and Google announced we're actually going to start using our advantages to try to integrate AI everywhere. So I think what this means for the average person is now you're going to have access to the best models for free because these companies want you to start using AI products. And it means you're going to be able to communicate with AI across modalities, which basically means not only typing, but also speaking and even video. So that's the quick version. We can get into the details, but I think for most of us, the big change is if you haven't paid for ChatGPT, you've been using what's called ChatGPT 3.5. What that means is that the new version, the ChatGPT 4 and better, are probably 10 times better than what you've been using. So if you do any creative work, I'd say you haven't really tried ChatGPT unless you've used 4. It's just substantially better. And what they announced is even more improvement on that. So for most of us, it means now for free, you get access to these models and you're going to be able to work more efficiently, come up with better strategy, be more creative. And whether you want to or not, you're going to see AI all over Google, Gmail, documents, everywhere you go now, you'll be seeing the AI stars.
Well, yeah, I like how you just roll up your tongue. You're going to be able to work more efficiently with better strategy. To be honest, what I am hearing from many people are it's moving so quickly, I don't know where to begin. I don't
Yeah.
even know what it means to make my workflow more efficient. I don't know how to bring in AI. That's great. New tools are being released or are advancing or they're free, but I don't even know where to begin. So
Yeah.
could you just tell us all what is Chip AI's mission and how are you helping to make this easier for people?
Yeah, so Chip's mission is AI for all. I really believe that AI is going to help raise the floor so everyone can bring out their best ideas. And even if you don't have access to the best talent, or maybe you're not as, connected, like AI gives you an opportunity to compete. For someone like me who's in Fargo, that's great, right? Like that we can be off the beaten path a bit and still have access to the world's knowledge, but not only access like Wikipedia or Google, but actually action. So what I see in surveys that I've seen companies, they are much more comfortable starting with AI internally and personally. So the very first thing I would do if you want to experiment with AI is just use it yourself for a task, a professional task. And I think the easiest way to get started is actually on critical thinking or strategy. If it's a yes or no question, if there's a right answer or wrong answer, people are going to quibble with AI and what they give. But what you can't quibble with is better ideas. I spent years teaching entrepreneurship, and we know from all the academic research there, the best way to have good ideas is to have lots of ideas. And most of us don't have the opportunity, whether it's time or access or connections, to speak with experts from different perspectives. So that might be people from different backgrounds, different ages, different technical abilities, and AI can be that person for you in your conversations and thinking. So, if you are running a retail store, you can say, what should my marketing strategy be? Assuming that you are a local mom of 4 shopping for a necklace, right? Or I'm trying to create a strategy to enter this new market. What are the weakest points of this strategy document? So using it almost like a copy editor plus, right? It's not just correcting your text, it's actually giving you critical feedback. If I was a professor still, I would always have my students do that first because I want to see the draft that's been thought through. And if you are at a company before you go into the meeting with your colleagues or before you submit a proposal to a client, you should definitely use AI just to say, here's what I'm thinking, what am I missing, or what should I consider? And I think that's such an easy way to start because it'll give you as many ideas as you want, and you can throw out the ones that are not useful, take the ones that are good, and then go from there. So it's a great strategy partner to start with.
Strategy partner. I love that. I also think you still need to rewind a little bit back for me.
Mm.
Do you mainly work with people who have some inclination and tech comfort, like they feel comfy using different kinds of technology, or they're willing to just dive into using ChatGPT or AI? Do you tend to work with people like that?
So Chipp is a platform to create custom GPTs. So basically custom chat GPT for your own business or personal use. So our builders who use the platform are, I'd say, comfortable with tech, but a lot of their end users aren't, right? And so what Chipp enables is that the end user doesn't have to know anything about AI. Like they can actually go to a site and the AI tool will actually ask them for information like, what are you working on? A strategy. What's your strategy about? Selling in a retail store, and then it'll pull out the information. So I think there's kind of those two audiences. You might be a builder, someone who is comfortable kind of tweaking or sending ideas, or you might be working with people who just need the guidance. And that's kind of where Chipp helps out. And I think anyone working with AI can think about that dichotomy of, is this person going to want to have a conversation back and forth to figure out the right questions, or are they just going to want to be told, here's how to use AI for our company? So that's kind of where we sit.
And you also have, I'd love you to mention just a little bit about 5-minute AI. So
Yeah.
super accessible short videos. Tell us more.
I think with just a little bit of experimentation, we can integrate AI successfully. So I started 5-minute AI over a year ago to just provide short tutorials. And that's now, connected in with Chipp and connected in with everything I'm doing, because when I see interesting use cases, I want to show other people how to do it. And that could range from, hey, if you've used MyFitnessPal and you're counting your calories, you can now build that yourself in a few minutes, to here's how you can write a grant with it, to here's how you can create a kid's book with illustrations. So not all business, right? It can actually be more personal, fun use.
My personal favorite is you freezing your buns off in Fargo. Something happened to your car.
Yeah, I had to jump start my car because it was too cold.
So these are real and designed for real life settings. And that
Wow.
brings me to my next point is you are incredibly human, and so is your team. And that's what stands out to me. Chipp really makes AI accessible for all because you are the humans behind it. I'd love you to share just a little bit more about what making this process of using AI as human as possible. What does that mean to you? And why is it important to you?
Yeah. I think most AI companies are trying to automate away humans. And I definitely see the potential for AI to allow us to focus on what makes us unique and special. I think about a job as made up of lots of tasks, and some of those tasks are going to go away or could go away. So we can spend more time on the other tasks. I think about, if you're an accountant in the late 80s or early 90s, you're doing a lot of calculations. Now QuickBooks does all that for you, but you're still an accountant and you're still doing a lot of interesting strategic work. Same thing if you're a teacher, right? Where now AI might be able to come up with lesson plans for you or even help you grade. And then you can spend more time on social emotional learning or following up with questions or talking to students about, what career they want to get into. And so I think all of us have areas that we're weaker. One of the things that I've found interesting about the early research on AI is that it disproportionately helps lower performers. So if you're a new employee, if you are doing a task that you're less skilled at, so maybe you're not comfortable writing blog posts, but you were told you have to do it and it takes you forever, AI is going to disproportionately help you because it'll get you to that first draft really quickly. If you're already a rock star blogger, you do this every day, like AI won't give you as big of a boost because you're already really good at it. So I think what I get excited about is AI allows us to really lean into our strengths and not have to spend as much time on those things that don't light us up.
And you are a teacher inherently.
Yeah, I am.
So I get the sense that you and a few members of your team, you really care about helping people not feel like they're dumb, like they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, right?
It's new tech, and this is something I really confront a lot with people moving through change, is they don't want to feel like they're going to make a mistake or they're going to, go down the wrong path or they're going to seem stupid. What you guys do at Chipp is you really hold people's hands and customize according to what their needs are. Can you say a little bit more about why this is important for you as a founder?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, all of our users we do one-on-one onboarding with to help build the first value. One of our key metrics is time to value, because we think if you try AI and it doesn't work the first time, you're much less likely to be receptive to it. And I think a lot of people tried it early on when it was really in the news and then maybe didn't find it useful, and then they're just tuning it out. I think where it becomes useful is connecting it to your own voice. So making it talk like you, and then it'll help you solve your problems. And so I think it's essential for adoption that people, have a human to help them through it. And then also it kind of helps avoid a lost opportunity. So I think if we're scared of the tech, we're not going to move as fast, right? And that means fewer opportunities for your business or for you personally. Whereas AI can really help us move quicker towards our goals. I just used it for planning our summer meal schedule for my family. It even read my wife's handwriting, which I can't always do. So, there's lots of ways to really use it in a human way. And that's ultimately what people are going to get excited about, is when it actually like touches them personally.
Yeah. What about people who feel really close to the idea of ever using AI and frankly want it to just go away? I do have a
Yeah.
few clients, I would say on the older end of the spectrum, generation wise, and
Mhm.
they're just hoping it's going to go away or that, it's really a danger and a threat and they don't want any
Mm.
part of it. What would you say to somebody who shares that sentiment?
Yeah. I mean, I think what is happening, what will happen is a lot of it will get abstracted away. So you'll be using it without knowing it. If you're sending a text message and it suggests the next word, or you're writing an email and it suggests the next sentence, you're already using, a type of AI or a machine learning. And so you're probably already using it without getting scared. I think what people get scared about is how AI can erode meaning. A lot of the things we do that take time, the reason why we value it is because it takes time. So when your boss asks you to do a report, maybe the report itself doesn't matter, but the fact that you spend 2, 3, 4 hours looking at the data shows that you put in effort. And so I think that's going to be a big challenge, is how do we measure effort and what was the thing actually for? I know education especially is struggling with this. A lot of times those big essays you had to write, it was not about the essay. It was about the time you put in to show that you could finish work or you could do hard things. Now that's not a hard thing. And so what is the way that we show that students are diligent or have grit or are able to do hard things? It's probably not giving them a long essay. It's something else. Maybe it's a project, or maybe it's applying what they've done, in an actual use case. And so I think a lot of people are afraid for the degradation of meaning. And so we have to reimagine what the purpose of things are and then assign value to, how we complete those tasks. So that's a little bit, heady academic answer perhaps, but I think we need to find that, find meaning.
Well, actually, in your consulting, when you're personally onboarding companies, do you ever hit a touchy spot where they're going to have to reestablish how they define meaning organizationally? Do you come across that in your consulting or your support?
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of times people, especially when it's doing something they do as a daily task, it hits really close to home, where they think, oh, the thing that I've been valued for, the reason why people came to me, no longer matters. And, there's a lot of concerns always about privacy as well, right? I think a big thing is that when you're sharing with ChatGPT or when you're using Chipp, none of that data is being used to train, right? So you can shut off the ability for it to actually look at your data. Some industries, whether it's healthcare, financial, have legal reasons they aren't able to do it. But for most of us, I wouldn't say a huge concern around privacy. I think the issue is what I always call the AI sandwich. Like, you still have to put in the work. It's not an answer machine, it's an idea machine. And so the AI sandwich to me is like two pieces of bread with meat in the middle, where the human's the bread, there's the AI in the middle, and a human again at the end. So when you're using AI, you're going to ask a question, get an answer, but then you have to take that answer, improve it, edit it, fact check it, share it, and maybe and often going back to AI. So make it more concise, make it more academic, use emojis, make it a fifth grade level. So you're tweaking it along the way. So I really think about AI as almost like that incredibly brilliant intern who doesn't exactly know what to do. And if you can point them in the right direction, you're going to get a big value. And so it does take a little time of sharpening the axe before you get work done. And that's kind of where a lot of people struggle, I think, is not getting the answer right away and then they're out. So I think if you're concerned about loss of meaning or you losing a job or privacy, like there's some pretty, easy, clear answers around that. And I just think like use it in the places where it will have impact for you personally first before you worry about, is this going to change my company or replace my job?
And what industries are you working with most right now, just to give people
Mm.
listening and cue an idea?
Yeah. A couple of our most common use cases first is around marketing agencies. So agencies who are working with clients are trying to build solutions for them. So they have a lot of clients asking about AI. So we have an agency program just at chipp.ai, chipp.ai/agencies. And we not only train you, but we give you use cases that you can then resell into clients. So that's been a big audience for us. We have a lot of coaches and consultants, people like you, Hope, who are working with individuals who are trying to create strategy or trying to create direction. And AI is a great way to increase value between those in-person meetings. So where you meet with somebody and then you give them homework and include AI as a place they should go to get more inspiration or to check their ideas so that when they come back the next week, they've made progress and even have like a body of work to share with you. And then I'd say like a lot of solopreneurs, so people who have startups or tech companies who are trying to do everything, right? And so they see AI as a massive time saver. So I can do my marketing faster, I can write my emails faster, I come up with my strategy faster. And so that's been a big use case as well.
Yeah, and I feel like you may be working with dental and medical and, more tech.
Yeah, across the board, insurance, anything that requires a lot of information. You can imagine when you go to a medical provider or dentist, like your patients often want to know, is the insurance covered? And talking to large PDFs is a great use case for AI, right? It can look through all the insurance plans and tell you exactly if this procedure is covered by that plan. Same thing with academic research or grant writing. You can look through an entire, body of work and find the part that you need, and then you can talk to it or get feedback on it. So any large information transfer is a great use case across industry.
So say someone's leaning in and thinking, oh my gosh, I need to speak to them. What do they do? How do they get in touch with you?
Yeah, just reach out. I'm on LinkedIn, Scott Meyer. My email is just my first name, Scott at chipp.ai, chipp.ai. We love to work with people, both, sign them up for Chipp and help out, but also like I'm doing lots of speaking and helping people just answer questions about AI. And the more I hear questions, the better I can make videos and resources that others will want. So we just love to hear questions and get connected with people.
Awesome. I hope people do reach out. You are definitely a positive, inspiring place to land for anybody who wants to find their way with AI. Thanks, Scott. Forward to diving in with you again. Maybe next time you'll give me a demo.
Let's do it next time. See you there.